Alright, welcome back. Today I'm going to be working on what I just finished up here, and yes, the seam sealer is kind of messy. I'm going to be putting a brace in here. This is a 1/8 inch thick steel, overkill. Yes, I know. I'm going to put a brace in here, and I'm going to move the holes down for the Arneg / Shelby drop. And it's not that difficult, but hey, you know, you get to see it. And for you guys that watch and subscribe, and I really do appreciate it. Don't always say it, but I do appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you guys subscribing. So we'll get on with it. All right, here we are in the shock tower. And to show you how I'm going to make those plates that I showed you just a minute earlier, I have started off with a template. Now, when you're working in a confined area like this, it's kind of hard to make a one-piece template. So make one template to go on that side, another template to go on that side, put them in, figure out about where they need to go, tape them back up, take it out, and then you end up with a new template. Now this template, yeah, it's not fitting perfect because I actually cut this. This is a little oversized from what that is up there, and it's not even to the line yet. But the reason I did that is this is just a little bit bigger, and I can come back and essentially what I will do is I will, I'll work on this, I'll work on that, but also I've made it to where I can just trim right off the bottom and just lower the whole thing down. I'd rather make it a little bit bigger and then come back and trim. And then once I get the first one, I will see if that one fits the other side, and then I'll make a perfect one. I mean, I could make, continue working on the template, but, I'd just rather cut the real thing. So I'm going to go from this. I'm going to take this. I'm going to run over here, and I'm going to cut out one of these and come back and test fit it and see how it fits. Okay, well, I'm back. I have cut this out of some extremely thick 1/8 inch plate. It's kind of overkill. That's what I got. Now, as it's just sitting in here. I did a little trimming on it to make it better. But you see we're touching here, big gap over here, and that's because this is flat, that's at an angle. So you've got to either make it a pie shape, or you do where you hold this, push it in, and just work it down all the way to that end. And the template fits fairly well. Okay, well, I've got a step that I need to do before welding that plate into place, and that's drilling the new holes here for the Arneg drop. And I've taken my other template, because why not have both templates in one? Now, these are the stock holes. So for the 65-66, they go down an inch and back 1/8 of an inch. For the 67-68, there is a Thingiverse file for a plastic piece that you can print on a 3D printer and just print it out, just set it up there. This was easier than drawing it up on the computer and printing it out, so I went that route. So the way this works is you just kind of, you set it over the existing and punch, drill new holes, in the old ones. But I need to do that because the control arm, which is not near me, the issue is if I make this thing, because this is bigger than I've seen most people make it, if I make this too high, there is a good chance that the arm can run into that if I go up too high. So I want to go ahead and get these holes drilled, use a stock arm, and check for clearance before I weld this into place, because I made it too big. So, and I don't want to cut it down. I will make it work. I like it the way it is, so that's the way it's going to be. Oh, and another quick little addendum. You see this bolt goes through here really nicely. This bolt doesn't go through. Now these are aftermarket parts, so their pieces didn't line up. So that one doesn't line up at all, but it lines up enough to get the, registration right. And I've center punched here. I'll take this off and drill those holes. But I checked the other side. Neither one of the holes will the bolt go through. So, yeah, more fun. Okay, well, as you can see, I got my new holes drilled. These are drilled at the 1/2 inch right now. They need to be, I believe it's 17/64 is finish size, but for 1/2 inch works for right now. So I got the bolts just sitting in here, and put that in there. Now with no shims, it's going to be the tightest against her it ever will be. And then I let it tilt down, and it is hitting the frame rail before it hits my, even with that being popped up. So yeah, once that's tied down into place, it definitely won't be in the way. But I just want to double check, because you never know. But yeah, it fits. And yes, these were on the car when I got the car. So somebody did that at some point, a long time ago. All right, well, it is another day, and I have, you can't see it, but where the piece is going to go, I've actually prepped that. I sanded off the black coating, and then I've put weld-through primer on, and that's primarily to get the areas that I removed material from that I'm not going to get weld on and things like that, because I'll talk about weld-through primer one of these days, but it's not used the way people think it's meant to be used. But anyway, what I'll do is when I got this piece here, and now when I put this in, you know, yeah, we're sitting funny. When I clamp it in, it goes fine. I will tack it here, I will tack it here, and then I will get it into place. And then what I'll do is I'll go back and re-clean up the edge right inside of there where I'm going to be welding, and get this garbage off, because it's called weld through. You don't weld through it. It's for when you weld through something and it's on the back side. That's what it's for. It's not really meant for the front side. So the only stuff of this that really matters is what is on the inside, not the outside. So I may even just put a line here, and I will wipe this off or sand that off lightly, and that way I don't get too much of what I put underneath that's under that little lip. So I'm going to go ahead and get this going, and as you see, I've got my bolts up here. Those holes are in and done. And then I will do this. I will fill these. I'm going to do a bunch of stuff over here, and then all this will get seam sealed, which I don't know if I mentioned it. Probably didn't, but as you can see, I seam sealed across here and across here. So if something does get in here somehow, it will still drain out the drain hole in here. I did plug off the two ends because I don't want it coming into there. So, you know, it'll be fine. You know, it's just not a daily driver, so even if you didn't do anything, it's gonna be fine. So, yeah, I will. I'll get that, start that welding in there, and we'll come. Okay, well, at this point, I've got my piece welded in. It was way thicker than it needed to be, and for some reason, I removed the coating, the mill scale coating from the back side, but not this side, so I had to sand all of this in place in order to get it to come off. I have primed that. I went ahead and primed other things that, you know, I can go ahead and put seam sealer on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on those two. But so for right now, my next step is going to be putting seam sealer in all of these little gooped areas, and I will be making this area to where it kind of runs downhill and will overflow into here. There are some of these braces that people make that sit on top of here. I made mine to go inside. I'm not worried about it. This is not a daily driver, so, you know, it's not that big a deal when it comes to, you know, think how much it used to trap in there before. So it's not nearly as bad. So I am going to be using this stuff here, because this is what I was able to pick up locally pretty quickly. I'm going to go ahead and put that on. There's no reason for you to watch that. It's like almost as interesting as caulking a bathroom. So I'll go ahead and do that, and be back in a few minutes here and kind of discuss a few things, maybe, if I come up with any bright ideas. Okay. All right, well, it's the next day, and I finally came back out here, and I have now put the seam sealer on, and I went ahead and went up here, and I went ahead and wrapped around here and did some of this stuff while I was at it, because I'm here. And no, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but yeah, now I gotta see it. Who cares? But this is kind of sloping down here, and this is built up so the water will come out, so it'll drain for what it is. And I went ahead and did a bunch of this over here, some of the cracks over there, some of the stuff over there, stuff that I patched. These are welds that I put in. I just go ahead and seam seal it. This will all get covered up. This is all going to get covered up by some kind of undercoating anyway, so yeah, big deal. But that's pretty much where we are. And you can see this is where the original holes were for the control arms, and we've dropped those down 1 inch, moved them back 1/8 of an inch. That's pretty much it. If I'm missing something, just ask. This was just kind of, throw a video together and get something up. So, yeah, there we go.